Hi guys, it's Ali and Theo and we're back with another episode of the Undecided Gen Z.
This is a podcast where we talk about everything going on in our world, your world, and the world around us from a very messy Gen Z perspective.
Yes, we are that podcast. We're back again, another week in a row. Get excited.
Don't mention it.
Sorry, touch wood.
I think the last time we got like 10 in at the start of the year and we're like, yeah, we got 10. And then it was 2 months before our next episode.
Fair, I'm blaming it on me moving up here. It's taken a little bit
yeah,
for
but
us
who
to get
knows
in
what
the
you could do next? Who knows what will happen? That will unbreak our chain.
True. There is something I'm thinking about.
Something, what?
No, I'm not gonna talk about it.
What?
Anyway. No. So we are back with another episode. It's us. It's just us again.
It's us.
No guests.
No features.
But apparently people like this better.
They're like, we don't need no extra energy. You guys are enough for us.
Yeah, like, you guys are a bit too chaotic. And adding a third person in is just too much. But no, I'm excited for this episode because like I just fleshed out the episode on a live with some listeners, so like it was cool to get their input and like a bit what they wanted to talk about. So guys, that's where you come to the lives, because you get input in the episode.
You say as if the lives happen on a weekly basis.
But when they do, they're important. That's all.
Yes, you can't miss it.
But before we get into that, do we have a review of the week?
We do have a review, and funnily enough, I actually just got a notification from my Feet Pics man. Oh, no, this isn't a review. This is unrelated. Just my Feet Pics man back in my DMs responding to a story I just put up of us on this Zoom, me with my Zoom mustache, and he said, "Love you, Theo, but please shave."
It's not real.
Don't expose me. It's definitely real, but I mean, if it turns him off, is that a bad thing?
I like it. I'm not going to lie. But, like, I'm not your target audience, so.
Oh. Yikes. Okay, anyway, moving on. We do have a review. This one comes in from Kombucha James. And they said, I love updates. Ali, please go on more and more Hinge dates for more love updates. Please, I'm so invested. And a million exclamation marks. Also, Theo should do the same so we can get hectic Theo love updates too. P.S. I'm team Guy 4.
Ooh, interesting. I've got more to touch on that when we get into it.
Okay. And
sorry, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say I read this and I was like, that's a good point. And the next day I got an advertisement on Facebook for like a Christian dating app called Salt. I was like, okay. So I signed up and I was like, just to see. And I swiped through like 5 people. And then it was like, all right, you've run out of people. I'm sorry, there's no more people around you in your preferences. I was like, okay, damn it.
You should just go on Hinge because you can put your religion.
Then I did go on Hinge, and I start to activate my account. And it turns out I still had one from when I made it for like 30 seconds a few months ago. And I immediately got a match. Well, no, Hinge does a weird thing where it's like shows you if someone's like one person a day or something.
I love it.
So this person responded to one of my messages, which was like, the way to win me over is being as obsessed with Survivor as I am, or pretending to be. And she said, I think you've just won me over. Ha ha ha. So I'm like,
she really didn't try there, did they?
Wait, what?
Sorry.
What do you mean she tried?
No, it's like it's kind of cute.
That's
but
it. That's the one.
Like, what do you respond to that? Like,
well,
cool.
She had on her profile, we'll get along if you like pasta with jam. Just try it. So I said, you had me at Survivor, but lost me at the pasta with jam.
Oh, that's good. Good going, Theo. Theo's the first time on a dating app and he's winning.
So I'm like, this is it. And then I saw that she sent that message in Feb 19. So we're only 3 months too late, but that's
maybe
okay.
She's still looking.
I mean, she has had a few days to respond now, but that's all right.
Yeah,
there's more fish. So find me on Hinge.
Always.
See you there.
Now everybody's just gonna go on Hinge just to find you. Hey. Just don't lie about your religion, guys. If you're gonna do that, they all just put in Christian just to make sure.
Oh wait, I just got another. Okay, look at me with my other like. Okay,
I love it. No, I love it. I'm here in full support.
So that was our review from Kombucha James. Thank you. Sorry.
Am I like glitchy? Or do you just like spacing out?
No, you just didn't say anything.
Yes, I said I love it. I'm in full support.
Me too. And then I was like, okay.
Oh.
Do I have to say the next
thing?
thing?
Don't acknowledge my existence. That's fine.
Do I have to carry this on?
But yes, thank you, Kombucha James.
So she said she's team guy 4, which,
yes.
I mean, last week I feel like we pretty much decided that was probably the way to go.
Well,
But I put a poll on Instagram saying which guy should Ellie pursue. And I don't know if they hadn't read the most recent episode yet, but guy number 4 got the third most votes.
Third? Who got the top?
So the top was number 2.
The friend?
The friend who listened to the podcast and you said was a big no. But I think people like the friend into romance story arc. Number 2. I did
too, and look where it got me with you. So
exactly, guys, you should have learned from that. It doesn't work.
Exactly.
Number 2 was guy number 3, which I stand by. Apple Store.
Everybody, even somebody on the live was like, guy number 3, and I was like, guys, he has a girlfriend.
It's because that story was like the most hyped up, and you're like,
cute.
I just coincidentally saw him yet again, and then you're like, then Buddy's got a girlfriend. It's like, bruh, you just like brought us into this whole love story. And then we had number 4. And number 1 really didn't get many votes. Yikes. Ooh. That's okay. Still hope, maybe.
Oh, no. It was surprising because, like, my mum listened to the episode and she's been, like, sick. And, like, I didn't even bring it up. I told her that I was seeing somebody. She was like, I listened to your most recent episode. And when I was listening, I just kept being, like, screaming, being like, pick number 4, pick number 4. And I was like, okay, Mum, that's fine. So my mum's in full support of number 4. But no, okay, we're gonna just go into a love art.
Let's just jump straight into it. Give us a rundown of the 4. Okay. Oh. So wait, last week you said you were really starting to like number 4, and that you were going on a date this week to like an art gallery, right?
Oh no, we like talked about going to an art gallery. So we didn't go. Oh. So I thought there was like a ghost or something, but it's like a tree just in the window. But like, because my things are foggy because of the heat. Talking
about guy number 4 getting you all startled.
No, so guy number 4, we haven't seen each other since, but we've been talking a lot.
Since what?
Like, FaceTime since our like date. Did I talk about the date last time? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I cried, remember, after the date.
Yeah.
But we've like FaceTimed like twice since then. One time we stayed up till 5 a.m. talking. So that was great. And then the other time was literally last night, and we just talked for like a couple like hours, and then like went to sleep because we were both tired. We talked about everything, like music, race, like just everything. Like it's just easy flow. We talk about, I don't know, we just get to know each other really. But like at the moment he's just really busy like making music. Like this weekend we were going to hang out, but then he has to do some like filming and stuff for music, and he has work and I have work, and anyway, so it hasn't happened. But
I love how subtle you're being about this right now. You're like, yeah, we've talked a couple of times, like it's whatever. Whereas if I was to read out the messages you've sent to me instead, where you're like, why are you trying to hide this? You're just trying to play it cool. She's like,
I'm like,
yeah, we FaceTime. Just another guy.
FaceTime. It's really, I'm trying to be really relaxed about this just in case like somebody listens, and like particularly him, just in case, because like I don't want to be like, you know, but like no, I think I like him. I'm pretty sure I like him. So no, I think I like him. He's really, really nice and really kind. And it's funny because the past couple of days, like usually when I talk to guys or whatever, this is going to sound really bad, but usually I'm still like kind of, or like seeing a guy, I'm still like actively still on dating apps, or I'm actively still kind of...
Yeah, the scroll doesn't stop just because you've found it.
The scroll has stopped. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh.
The scroll has stopped. I've even considered deleting, but I haven't deleted anything. But yeah, no, the scroll has stopped. Like I get notifications from people like... that are like, oh, you've got somebody's liked you on Hinge or whatever, or this, and I just don't delete them. I haven't even like checked them.
If someone can stop Ali's scroll, you know they've made an impact.
But yes, there's going to be more updates next week, probably, because you know, Theo, what's happening. But I want to keep that for next week, just in case. But like, I don't really like it. No, I don't really like it.
No, but you have to tell us just in case like it doesn't happen or it get people excited.
Well, basically we were trying to figure a day that we could hang out, and I didn't have any... basically I was like, do you want to do something Thursday? And then he didn't like couldn't do Thursday. Then he's like, what are you doing Friday? And I was like, oh, I'm getting my wisdom teeth out, and I won't be much fun because like obviously I'm gonna be completely like off my head probably. And like if
not a pretty sight.
And when I go in anesthesia, there's like videos of me every time I've gone in. I'm crazy. So anyway, I'm just like, so I was basically writing off that day, and he's like, oh, I can like drive you and like pick you up and like look after you after the yeah. So it was really cute. Like, and I didn't even ask him to do that. He kind of just he's like offered, like he just wanted to see me, and he's like, I'll pick you up, and I was like, it's at 10 a.m. like. And, like, what are you going to do when I get my wisdom teeth out? Like, and I was like, I'm going to be so, like puffy and, like, out of my mind. And he was like, no, I'll just drive you home. And, like, he lives, like, 45 minutes away from me, too. So, anyway, I just like him.
Okay, that's...
But I haven't told him I like him.
Picking up from doctor's appointments.
Yeah.
That is kind of a funny concept, the fact that, like, does he know about you do a podcast where you talk about this stuff?
Yes. But he doesn't know. I haven't told him that I've talked about him or anything like that.
See, I feel like if you're seeing someone, would you say you're seeing? What's seeing someone mean?
Yeah, that's my thing. Okay. I don't know. Like,
no, you're talking. Okay, even if you're talking to someone, I feel like you want to stalk them in every way. So if you see they have a podcast, you're definitely listening. Surely.
Well, yeah, but he hasn't mentioned it.
And then it's like you haven't even told him you like him, and he's just listening to the podcast.
That's my thing. I literally
you tell the
told
podcast
him
first.
Oh no, I've got actually a love update. No. But you remember the thing that happened? So basically, really embarrassing. Classic. This happens to me. I was painting, and I've told Theo this, but I was painting, and I was like watching a Netflix show, but I was like also scrolling, and this thing came up on Instagram, and it was a little video, and it was like from We're Not Really Strangers, and it was like a thing that was like, it just basically, I didn't listen to the audio, I was just watching it, and it was like meeting you was a nice accident or something like that. And I was like, and it was like, send this if you're brave. And I was like, okay, I'm brave. So I just sent it to him. Because I was like, meeting him was a really nice accident. Like, we had a lovely time and whatever. And then after like 5 minutes or so, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, hang on, like, that's not that brave. I was like, how is that brave? Like, saying to somebody, like, meeting you was a nice accident. I was like, oh. Anyway, I like went through and I like watched the video again with the audio. Turns out the audio had like lyrics that was like something about like, I wanted to kiss you or something. Oh. I died. Oh. I absolutely died inside. I've never been more embarrassed.
How did you responded? Had he seen it?
Yes, he had already responded, but at that point I didn't know. He was just like basically like, yeah, you are really brave, and then commented on like my indecisiveness and like something I said on the date. I was like, I called the ocean a body of lake instead of a body of water. Anyway, and he like said that, right. And then he's like, but I feel the same way too. Oh. And I was like, okay, that's nice. He feels this, like the same way about like meeting me. That's good. And then I listened to the audio, and I was like, okay, kind of want to die. And then I tried to like backtrack heaps, and we know, guys, backtracking should not be done by me.
We learned that lesson with Forgotten Item.
But I did a little bit of backtracking, but he just found it funny because he found it funny that I was so embarrassed. Not as much as I did backtracking with Forgotten Item, but that's fine. Anyway, it was like nice. So I think like it hasn't been confirmed. Like I hope he likes me.
Oh.
But like neither of us have like said that we liked each other, or that like we went out on a date, or like
do you
that
say
we
that?
like.
Like how does that come
I don't know.
about?
That's what I don't know. Like obviously we met on Hinge.
Or is it just assumed if you're like going on dates that you're interested in each
other?
other?
Are they dates? And then you know how I like said. Or like,
yes, you have to stop saying it's not a date. If you're going out with someone in that way, it's a date.
I already said it, so I can't like. So then he was like, yeah, of course. Like if we like vibe, like even if we don't like each other, like we'll still be friends. So then I was like, okay. So now because I said that, now I'm like so confused. I'm like, does he like me? But then I'm like, but like, would you spend like 5 hours like staying up till 5 a.m. talking to somebody if you were just friends? Like, you know what I mean?
That was also another mistake in saying we could still be friends even if we don't like each other. Because now he could just be like, oh, I don't like her. I've just transitioned into friends.
Yeah, but
I don't know that. Because we said we could be friends. But that's not what's happening. We're saying it's positive. He is into it. He wants more.
Yeah. Let's hope.
Well, true, because then you get so far down the track, you hang out all these times, and then he's like, "Oh wait, you were in love with me this whole time?" And you're like, "What do you mean we're dating?"
Can we not say that?
No, not yet. I'm saying
okay,
like in
good.
the future, and you've been like dating, and in your head you're like,
and in my head we've been dating for like a month or like 2 months, and then he's like, "We're friends."
No, literally. No. Wait, you're on like your 8th date, and you're like, so I was just like wondering when we're gonna like confirm this, like make this official. It's like, what do you mean? You're just like my mate.
Well, no, I think that's the hard thing.
I shouldn't even joke about this because you're gonna get off this podcast and like.
I know, I'm already stressing. My head's already spinning. But no, like, I feel like part of me is like, sorry, just completely mumbled because I'm just now really in my head. Thanks a lot, Theo.
No.
But no, I think it's been hard because like, although we've met up once, we've like talked heaps. Like we talk a lot, and then like we've FaceTimed.
Sure.
But it's not like we're in person, and there can
it's
be
a
like
COVID
physical...
relationship. This is very 2020.
There can be no like physical touch or like no, but as in like you know what I mean. There can be no like moves made.
Oh,
so
true,
it's like,
true.
So like if you were on a date, you could make a move and like but because
signal
of that,
stuff. Yes, well we know you're not good at picking up on signals anyway, but. That's probably a good thing because like you're building up the tension, like the chemistry is building.
You are to me. You're not good at picking up.
No, I'm trying to just remind you of your like the things we've already learned, so we don't keep doing the same stuff.
True. It's like a growth.
Exactly.
A ladder.
But no. You're building up the chemistry by talking. You're like, oh, I haven't even had touch him. Yeah, like just want to touch his shoulder, and then when you finally see each other in real life, it'll be like a passionate embrace.
That makes me want to vomit. But I like low-key agree. Like I feel like it's kind of nice just to like get to know each other and like connect.
Fall in love with him as a person. Sorry, I know you hate when I go take it too far with the love. Fall in like with him.
No, but I think it's better because of course like the other other like people I've seen, etc. It's either always been about like sex or like going straight into that, or like they make a move the first time we hang out or something like that. So there's no like I feel like this way, like I feel like we're becoming friends, which is kind of what you want if you are like progressing to a relationship. You know what I mean? Like we're becoming friends, but we obviously want to get to know each other more. And like, I don't know, it's kind of nice. Like in a way it's nice, but also hard because it's like, I don't know what's going on. And I hate that. But
and
I really
also you wonder
really
from like his perspective. So just say he's thinking like, just say he's not thinking about it in a romantic kind of way. And he's like, oh no, I'm just enjoying hanging out with this girl. Like we just have great chats, great banter, whatever.
Yeah.
How does, like, should he have to like, because obviously that is very much suggesting something else, which is why I definitely think he is thinking a romantic way. It's obviously suggesting that, like all the actions that's taking place. But is it his responsibility, like, to tell you if it's not that?
I don't know. I feel like it's on both of us. Does that make sense?
He then thinking like, oh, I don't want to say like it's nothing if she's not thinking it's something, because then she's like, what do you mean? I didn't think it was anything.
God, stop here.
Sorry.
Oh my God. Sorry. No. Like, I get what you mean, but like, I feel like it's on both of us, but like, I feel like we've already slowly like confirmed.
Oh, well, you said the thing. You said the thing.
Even him responding, be like, I feel this like same way about you. I was like,
okay, yes.
Like at first I was dying inside, but then I was like, oh, it was like a blessing in disguise.
If he wasn't thinking about it in a romantic way and you sent him that would have been his signal to be like,
he could be like, girl. Oh no.
But he like pushed it even further. So yes.
Well, he didn't push it further, he just like
he's into it. You've got yourself a mess.
Stop. Oh, no, can we not? You're jinxing everything.
Okay, sorry. Hey, you got one jinx at the start, so I'm jinxing this.
No, but that's the update with him. And yeah, so I like him. And the other thing is, number one is the guy I'm doing the painting for his sister's birthday, which he...
Oh, we got rid of number one, but the painting is still here.
The painting's still here. I've like basically finished it, and he wanted to pick it up today, but then I had like gym, and then so he's picking it up on Saturday, which is like fine. But like even with him, I'm being like shorter. Like he's he's sending message. He's like, "Thank you so much," and he's done like an X, and I was just like, "No worries." So like even in my mind, I'm starting to like close that book too. Does that make sense?
Because if your relationship has been very much like. Because obviously there was not much romance and more just like
friendship hooking up,
friendship hooking up and stuff. So if he like was to come over, he's like, "Oh, come pick up the thing," and then he like kisses
Tries to, yeah. I'll be like,
and then
no.
you're like, "Oh, really?"
Just,
Just
yeah. I'm like, that's the. Oh, that sounds really weird because I've only like. Oh, see,
But
I
I
don't
was
like
just,
admitting this type of stuff. But like, as I said, like, I'm at that stage where like I'm not interested in talking to anybody else at the moment,
yeah, right.
or like because I just want to like if this is I don't know, like it's not like I'm exclusive. Like we're not even seeing each other. We've met each other once. Like this sounds so weird. Okay, like saying it.
No, it doesn't sound weird. It doesn't sound weird. You've got a crush which you're keen on until it means that you're not like, No, it doesn't sound weird.
But it's weird for me. Because...
Whoa, Ali's going through a monogamous phase. We're here for it.
No, but as I said, like usually I'm like dating somebody or I'm out on a date with somebody, which sounds so bad, and I'm like looking at other potential people, or just like not fully like being like, oh, I just want to put my time into one person, which sounds so bad. But like with this guy, I'm like, okay, I like him. I think I like him. I'd like to just like focus on that at the moment. So like if this number one guy comes over and like expects something, I'd just be like, oh, sorry.
But it is interesting like how casual relationships work then when like if you've got like a relationship with someone where you just know like this is how it happens, this is how it goes, and then suddenly one of you actually gets into something legitimate, and then it's like, and, like, do you inform
I have to tell
like,
him?
hey, just so you know,
we
can't, so you can't send X in any of your messages anymore because I've got someone.
Well, like, do I like that's?
I guess you could actually. I said that, and then I was like, it's not that weird. You could very much say that.
No, but I think it's just like another ball game. Like, let's say this potential thing happens, it goes further. And I start actually dating this guy. Not even like boyfriend and girlfriend, just like dating exclusively. I think that awkward conversation
what is the difference between dating exclusively and being boyfriend and girlfriend?
No, like dating exclusively, I think you're just like, you're going on dates. Like you're saying that you want to like see each other. Oh, I don't know.
Because if you're exclusive, surely at that point you would be boyfriend and girlfriend. Otherwise, why are you exclusive?
Actually, this makes me think about a lot of things. Like, okay, so there's like seeing each other, which is like, or talking to each other, seeing each other. I don't know.
Saying,
like,
yeah.
What stage is that? Like talking to each other is obviously talking, but when you see each other, are you seeing each other multiple times? Like, does that mean going out multiple times?
Well, if just say you went to like a family gathering and your auntie was like, Ali, how's your romance? And you're like, oh, I'm seeing someone.
I know. I don't think.
What does that mean? You're in a relationship with them? I'm seeing someone. But I feel like you wouldn't really say I'm seeing a couple of people.
Yeah, no. But I think, like, seeing someone, you could be like, oh, I'm seeing someone, but I'm keeping my options open. Well, it's like dating is like, oh, I'm, like, dating them. And then boyfriend and girlfriend's like, no, we've, like, committed.
But then if you say, like, oh, I'm dating at the moment, or I'm, like, dating around, obviously it's very casual, just like you're dating. But if you're like, I'm dating... Okay, just say, wait.
No, I think seeing somebody is more like
I'm dating
sex.
someone. Ooh, really?
Or maybe, like, seeing someone is more, like, really, like, casual, like, sex, like, or date, like, sex and dating. Whilst, like... dating is like, oh, you're going on multiple dates with them. It's not just about like you're dating to like see where
ask me what my relationship status is and I'll respond and you can get the vibe of what it sounds like. Okay, ready? Go.
Okay, what's your relationship status?
Oh, I'm actually dating someone.
I think you're seeing like one person. You're like
dating one boyfriend and girlfriend?
No.
Oh.
But you're like dating them. Yeah. And I think that would be after like 3 or 4 dates.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know. I just like, there needs to be a rule book on this stuff. It's so hard.
Maybe when either one of us get a bit more experience in this, we'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you guys know. Anyway, I said it was going to be a short love update. It wasn't, as per usual.
But it was good. Happy for you.
Yeah, nothing's really solidified. But yes, thank you. I was about to ask what's happened. Oh, you're back in lockdown.
COVID is back. And I'm like, guys, it's literally been how long since we had COVID? I mean, you've had COVID a bit in Sydney. But like, we had the whole of last year. We came into 2021. We're like, goodbye. We destroyed it. And then...
No, didn't you have a week? Didn't you have
yes, but that was like in January, I think. There was like a 3-day lockdown or a 5-day lockdown maybe. And now it's like 6 months into the year and we're back in COVID and it feels so wrong. But also...
There's like 70 cases, isn't there? That's intense.
But also it feels kind of right. Like I was actually been talking to a friend recently. I'm like, I feel like we're kind of due for another lockdown. And
you're like, when's the lockdown gonna be happening?
No, legit.
Is it arriving soon?
And so now I'm thinking like I like the idea of them scheduling like every 4 months, just a 5-day lockdown. And it's like, you can't leave your house, you can't go out except for essentials. You just have to stay home and chill. Because I'm like, yes, I'm ready to stay at home, rejuvenate, re-energize my soul. I love it.
I'm glad. No, like, I kind of am jealous, like, low-key. That's so bad. I'm not jealous, but, like, it's just, I remember, like, lockdown being kind of a relief. Like, a way that you could just be like, oh, okay, we can stop, like, having pressure to, like, live life right now. Like, we can stop and, like, think.
And thinking, oh, crap, what do I have to do tonight? Oh, I've got these, like, 3 things, blah, 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 blah. Obviously, it's not that great for everyone, but personally, I'm excited for it. Except for the fact that it happened like the 1 week of my 21st birthday week.
Sad vibes.
So I was supposed to have a party.
Flights.
Did you have flights?
Yeah, I had flights booked.
Oh, really?
And now I have to work. Thanks a lot, Theo. Look what you've done.
You should thank me because I'm saving you money. So.
Well, that's not really. I just got my flights back in points. So.
Oh. So you can come down for my rescheduled party.
We'll see. I don't know if I'm getting fired, actually.
Oh.
Kind of weird. Because, like, so I forgot going back to my love update, but I forgot that, like, I have that wisdom tooth appointment, and it takes, like, 2 to 3 days to, like, a week or so to recover from having your wisdom teeth taken out. And I've had this appointment since, like, end of March, early April. And, like, I didn't have a job back then, so it wasn't a big deal. But I have to get them out because they're, like, pushing my teeth and they're painful. And I, like, told my boss, I was like, oh, I can work Sunday now because your thing was cancelled. And I was like, but I don't know if I can work Saturday. Like, maybe I can work Sunday. Probably not because I'm going to be a lot's pain. But I was like, look, I've had this appointment since April and I have to get my wisdom teeth out. And then she was like, yes, okay, we'll talk on Saturday. And I was like, talk about what? I was like, what are we going to talk about? You gonna fire me? Like, low-key, like, wouldn't care, but also would care.
Yes, no, we don't want to get fired a few weeks in.
No, we don't. But also, like, I hate hospitality. Like, I hate it. I want to be working at a bookstore or something. I'm low-key gonna put my resume into some bookstores. So, yes. Anyway, back to your update.
No, so I was supposed to have my party this weekend, and I hate birthdays. I think we're kind of opposite. Like, you love them for some reason, but I truly hate it.
That's why.
Why?
Didn't we go over this?
Did we?
On one of the episodes, yeah. Because
because you didn't get attention as a
no, because then now it's it's a day that is finally like about me to like show that I wanted. So it's like a big thing for me. That's why I like put so much pressure.
Oh, see, I kind of feel like it stresses me out in that people don't actually want it. They're just like, for example, I was like, fine, I'll have a party because I feel like with a party, people can come and you're like hosting, you're giving them like drinks and food, so it's kind of providing. Whereas then when I had to like originally cancel because you could like restrictions were like you could only have like 30 people, and my sister's like, oh, why don't you just go out with some friends? I was like, ooh, I hate the idea of even like close friends asking them like, hey, do you want to come out like for my birthday? Because then they're like,
that makes it feel so sad.
What?
See, I wanted, that's exciting to be asked. Like, if somebody asked me, hey, do you want to come out for my birthday? I'm like, hell yes. Like, I want to be doing that because I like the person. Like, what? You think people don't want to be celebrating you?
Triggered.
I think you have some trauma that you need to work through.
Probably. No, but I feel like then you're kind of saying like, oh, do you want to come celebrate me? And then they're like, oh, okay, fine, I'll come out.
Nobody thinks
people
that.
Don't really like coming out, and then they're there and you're
they could say no.
I would feel bad because I'm like having these people make them be there for me, and then they might prefer to be doing other things.
I think that's something you need to work through. Maybe you should get a therapist because I think that
really?
Like, no, like when people ask me, hey, do you want to come from with them? Like, yes, like that, like it's an honor. Like I feel like honored that you like somebody would choose me to like.
Maybe it's just because I don't love. No, that's true. Okay. I don't know.
Maybe
but anyway,
thing where you don't
party
like to be invited to things.
No, I love to get invited to things. But yes, party cancelled, birthday cancelled. We'll be staying in at home. So if anyone has any fun 21st birthday ideas while at home.
Let's do a Zoom party call.
That is my worst nightmare ever. Imagine getting on a Zoom for your birthday. And especially because Zoom is so unnatural. Like nobody kind of likes to speak up and there's always a bit of a delay. Like that is nightmare material.
True. But you're turning 21. How are you feeling? Do you feel weird about it now? Like it's getting closer. Like last time we talked about it, you're like, but like, do you feel anything?
No. I feel like and I'm glad because like I said, I always freak out about aging, but I think it just doesn't feel that weird. It feels natural, which I'm happy about.
That's good.
Except when people are like 20, like my mom's like 21. I can't believe you're 21. You used to be like my small child. And I'm like,
legit,
stop.
That's what my mom said too. She was like, oh, you were such a baby. Like it feels just yesterday you laid beside me. And I was like, can you not? I was like, do you want me to have like a meltdown right now?
Every time I start to feel like comfortable with aging, my mum will like make one of those comments where she's just like looks at me from across the room. She's like, you used to like want to cuddle me and be really small and like my child. I was like, Matt, stop.
You've grown.
I can't choose this.
It's
so that's me. Yes. COVID is back, keen for a week, just for a week, but people are suggesting it's going to go longer because it's kind of exploding at the moment.
Yeah, it is.
Where is the vaccine?
They were at that footy game. My mom's had the vaccine. Actually, no, it's Scott Morrison's fault because everybody, like, more vaccines should have gone out, but he did something wrong. I don't know. It's his fault for some reason.
And I saw a stat that said, like, if the current vaccine rate continues as is, like, the required amount of adults to be vaccinated, which is like 70% or something, won't happen till October 2022.
They need to hurry up. What the hell?
Get on it. I know America's going to be out of this before us after all that.
Legit. So, I think we should go into some topics because we've talked enough about us. Not that these won't connect to us because classic. But first off, actually, before we get into topics, got to change this up. We have somebody respond to the story about guy number 2.
Oh,
do you want to read that out?
Yes.
Because it was really interesting. I love when people can connect to like stories that we have and then share their own experiences or like advice or whatever, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, so I always mean to start doing this because I like you said, when people actually directly respond to something that's in the story. In the podcast. And so someone sent in as a people pick to our anonymous submission, but it's somewhat long, so get ready for this. However, she did start by saying, I don't know if this is the correct place to write this, or even if you want our own personal stories, but after listening to the recent podcast with Ali's story about not actually liking someone, but wanting to be liked, this is my story that might help others who also deal with these emotions. Bear in mind, it's quite long. Sit back, relax, get cozy in your chair. So, in 2018, I went on a Christian mission gap year to do music and youth groups. There were 19 of us, all over 18. Now, quick little embarrassing backstory. Prior to this, I had taken a weird fake initials of your future partner thing on Facebook, and I got an initial, which I won't share, and for some reason, it stuck with me. This is very you.
Ooh, already have me intrigued.
Flash forward on the course, there was a guy with the same initials. And like a movie, I thought this was the universe or God even telling me who my future person was. I'm like, did you send this in? I even had people telling me from my youth group, church, and family that I might meet someone on the course. So as you expect, that's immediately what I thought. So for the entire 10-month course, I liked this guy. 10-month, okay, can I just say 10-month, this like mission trip is intense with this dude for 10 months. But we weren't even close friends. And honestly, we barely had any proper conversations.
Okay.
Because I was so sure he was the one, I painted a fantasy in my head, thinking we were closer than we were, etc. What didn't help is that he was almost everything I wanted in a partner, had a great personality and face. I love that she just said face. It's like not just looks in general, just his face.
Just face.
Hardest thing was that he had the biggest crush on one of my closest friends on the course.
Oh, no.
So not only was I living in fantasy, but I now made myself feel insecure more than ever because I wasn't the one he liked. Fast forward to the last day of the gap year, and I'd confessed my feelings to half the course, except the guy. Even the girl he liked knew. Whether he knew it or not, I'll never know. On the last day, right before the girl left, he asked her out and she said yes. So it brought a great gap year to a shitty end in part, and I may have cried.
That like literally hurts so much.
Right? What I'm getting at here is that until the year ended and we all left each other, I didn't realize how stupid my mind had been. I'd wasted a year worth of tears and feelings for a guy who I didn't even actually like. I only liked the idea of loving someone and for my life to work out like a movie. What I know now is that when the person comes along who is meant to be mine, I think it will be more natural. Trying to force any type of relationship will never surface. I've learnt that I should just love myself. I can be the love that I crave. This is cringe, sorry. Anyway, long story short, love yourself. Take a few years to grow yourself. Screw finding the one who's meant to be. They will come when they come. And
so
that comes in
I
from
think she should replace me on the podcast. She's way better at this than me.
Also, she said, sorry for sharing more with you guys. I'll stop from 10.
No, we love it. Don't stop. Wow. So many emotions in one story. First, I was heartbroken for you. And then I was like, feels like, yes. And also, it probably taught you something that you needed to learn in the moment. So, like, now you know, don't create that in your head, which I've had to learn too. But thank you for sharing.
The whole time I was thinking, like, maybe the moral is, like, don't let the opportunity go. Shoot your shot. But it didn't happen. Yeah. Except, okay, I will say, like, we often talk about, like, don't waste, like, if particularly when you're talking about someone you like, just go for it, because, like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, it's going to be a missed opportunity, if anything.
Yeah, but I do it all the time.
Have we had any success from the shot shooting?
No. But no, okay, we haven't had any success, but this actually leads me to talk about this. With the scenario with the last guy, number 3, Apple Store guy, I shot my shot and I went back in, and I wouldn't have gone back in, and I wouldn't have, okay, if I didn't want to shoot my shot, I wouldn't have gone back into the Apple Store, and I wouldn't have met the girl that I met, who I'm now getting breakfast with soon, and, like, we become friends. So I feel like in any situation, like, you might not make, like, a friend like I did, but in situations like that, you're going to learn something, or you're going to gain something from it that, like, even if, like, of course you don't shoot your shot and get the guy that you want, at least you're gaining something, because at least you're gaining, like, an experience, or, like, building your self-confidence up enough to, like, be like, okay, I can do this. Like, even that's a gain in itself. But then weird things can happen, like, you get a new friend like I did. That's
true, because even thinking about how scary that is, like, if we think back to 2019, I don't know if anyone was listening back then, when we had that VidCon story, when we were outside that, like, restaurant bar thing for hours.
It literally was an hour, I think.
Okay, maybe not hours, but maybe like an hour. And you were like, I really want to go up to him and give him a number, but you were mortified, and it took you so long. Whereas now you do it, like, somewhat casually.
Yeah, because it's like, my thing is, I'm giving them my number. One, what's the worst that can happen? They say no, it builds their confidence. I get an experience, or, like, a story for the podcast, or, like, I get a story. Like, even, like, if you're not obviously a podcaster, you get a story to tell your friends. It, like, gives you more confidence to be like, hang on, I can do this. And it's, like, just fun. Like, think about if somebody came up to you on the street and was like, hey, I find you attractive, can I give you, like, my number? It's like, even if you're not attracted to them, you're still going to be flattered and, like, feel good.
Yeah, true that. And also just the fact that the more you do anything uncomfortable or something that's out of, like, your comfort zone, the more you're going to be, like, prompted to be bold and do, like, crazier things. And the easier those things will be in the future.
Exactly. So I thought I was done with my not my love life, but my updates of my life.
You hate that always. You're, like, determined not to jinx anything ever.
No, I got my tarot read, which I, like, posted in the Facebook group today. Instagram thing today.
Here we go.
This is the partner of someone who's in my course, and this girl just reached out to me and was like, I really want to, like, can I do a reading for you? Because she had this, like, urge to do a reading for me. Like, I didn't even ask. Anyway, I met her. She's like, so
I want to get that promo on the podcast.
No. Like, she didn't even talk about anything like that. But the stuff she told me, so scary. So scary. So she was like, there was, like, a couple of things, but there was, like, one thing she was like, first she was like, your ancestors, like, they're around you all the time. And I was kind of like, oh, that's a bit odd. She's like, but they're around you all the time, like, here with you. Just want to let you know. Because she's, like, kind of a medium too. Oh. And she is a medium as well. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. And, like, I started crying in this session, by the way, because it just, something she said just hit. Anyway, so one thing she said was, she was like, is your, like, grandma's, or, like, a sibling of your, like, a sister of your grandma's start with J? And I was like, oh, my grandma's name is Jean. She's like, no, it's not Jean. What about your other, like, grandma? And I was like, oh, no, her name was Mavis. She was like, so did she have any sisters? And I was like, yeah, she did, but I didn't remember their names or anything. So I was like, oh, like, I don't think any of them are called with J or whatever. She's like, well, it's really important that you learn more about your grandma, and specifically this story in the 70s about your grandma, and this person with with their name that starts with J, they know something and they're going to be able to help you and understand something. And I was kind of like, okay. I was like, I don't know a J. I don't know, like, I don't think either of my grandmas have any, because she asked about my other grandma again too, and I was like, she doesn't have a sister with a J. I was like, Anyway, moved past that. Then she was like, we pulled out some more cards, and she was like, there's something you're really holding on to. Maybe you embarrassed your like best friend, or like something happened with a best friend when you were younger, and you treated them really badly, or something bad happened. And I was like, trying to think about it, and then I remembered somebody, and I was like, oh yeah, like I didn't embarrass them, but there was this thing back in primary school, and a person who I thought was my best friend like bullied me a lot, and I was pretty badly bullied, but I've kind of blocked everything out. So I was like, I don't really remember the logistics. I just remember like that, like they got a point that like we were kind of forced to like stay friends, but she'd bullied me in primary school, and then like anything, there was this whole thing. And I was like kind of explaining that. She was like, yeah, well, you really need to like do a timeline and work through all that, because that you've been holding on to that for so long, and that's why your like stuff still isn't like your book, that chapter of your life hasn't closed, because you're still holding on to that. And she was like, there's this scenario where one night there was something and you left, and I was like, no. And I like really got really freaked out. And I was like, yeah, there was like a party, and it was really distinctly that there was a party that she had that was like a sleepover, and I felt really ostracized and like bullied, and I called my mom and asked me to leave early, and I like told her that. She's like, yeah. She's like, you really need to...
You just told her the info. She's like...
No. She said that I left a thing early.
She was like, I had a party. How did you...
No, she said you left a thing early that like had to do with her. There was like an occasion or something, and I was like, yeah, there was. Right. Anyway, there was all that, and then there was... What else was there? She was like to me, she was like, your mum has something on her bedside table that is stopping her from sleeping. She's like, on her left side bedside table, there is something on there that's like stopping her from sleeping, like causing like, I don't know, something that's like stopping it. Okay. I was like, so I was very specific. I was like, on what bedside table? Because I like know like ish of her bedside table. So I was like, one has a lamp and books. Like there's nothing on there. And the other one has like, I thought it had something there, like a picture of my grandma and some other stuff. And, but I didn't say that. And she's like, there's something there. You need to tell your mom to remove it. So I was like, okay, I'll like ask my mom what's there and da-da-da-da.
And what was it? Was there anything there?
Well, yes, that's what I'm getting to. But what happened was tonight I was like driving home, and I was like, I'd mentioned to mum kind of before about a little bit of like the reading, but I was like to her, like, what's on your bedside table? And mum's like, oh, there's a picture of me and your grandma, your grandma. There's a picture of her on the bedside table, and there's also like some nuns and something else. And I was like, Mum, you've got to remove that from the bedside table. No, like a statue or some nuns or something like that. And there's something else as well. And I was like, Mum, you've got to remove this stuff and da 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 da. Anyway, and I was speaking to her, and I was like, oh, Mum, did your grandma have any like siblings with like the name J? And she was like, Ali, you literally know her. Like, you've met her multiple times. Janet. And I was like, I completely freaked out, because I was like, that's who she was talking about, Janet. And, like, it just so happens to be Janet is, like, so my grandma's... Wait, what does that make her to me? I don't know. But my grandma's sister is, Janet. And she just happens to be the sister that looks nearly exactly like my grandma, who I've never met. She died when my mom was 18, my grandma. But looks exactly like my grandma, and that was closest to my grandma when they were, like, alive, when they were younger. So I, like, told, like, the girl who did my reading, she was like, reach out if anything happens, like, if you need to talk about anything in the next couple of days. So I, like, told her, I, like, reach out, and I was like, look, this has happened. She's like, yeah, you need to go talk to her and connect with her and ask her about your grandma, especially about a story that happened in the 70s. And I was like, okay, so I need to figure that out. So that's one thing. And then I was talking to my mum, and I was like, yeah, I haven't, no, that was tonight. No, it was
so it hasn't happened yet.
No.
Okay, well, leave us in suspense a bit. So are you gonna
Yes,
call Janet?
I need to figure that out. I need to talk to my mum about it, and I need to talk to Auntie Janet about it.
Okay, everyone get excited for that. The Janet follow-up.
And then she also said the lady who did my tarot, she said that potentially Janet might be like magic or like very spiritual, something like that. Not like magic, but very like, you know. So that would be really interesting. She says I just really need to connect with my grandma.
You've got some sorceress blood in you.
Yeah. But no, then after that I was talking to mum and I was like, oh, like I don't really remember like much that happened with this like best friend of mine. But like the girl said I need to write out a timeline to understand it so I can like understand how it's affected me. And then all this stuff, mum's like, yeah, there was this one time where they like all the people, the girl and all these other girls, they said that they were all you all guys are all going to hang out, but they like told you that it was cancelled, and then they hung out together and then called you from when they were hanging out all together. And I know, and I don't even remember that because I've like blocked it from my memory because obviously it was so traumatic and I was just so hurt.
What makes kids so cruel? Like how?
I don't know. Like, and then I was talking to mum and I was like, mum's like, yeah, but she's like apologized for it now. And I was like, yeah, but I could never do that to somebody, especially somebody who like you grew up with, and like I was still driving her to school every single day, for example. Anyway, there's a whole thing where I have to work through all this now and go through all that trauma which I've blocked off, like, and I don't remember, to then understand things more. And it just happened the literally day before I got my tarot read that the girl who was my best friend invited me to her 21st. Like, the odds. It was very weird. So that was the tarot reading. I'm really excited. I want to get another one soon. There was also like a bit of like a love life kind of thing that she did because I asked about my love life and they were like the person. So I was like, what's happening? They're like, somebody's come into your life, and she was like, you need to like be open and like receive. So we'll see what happens. I'm really like, I want to book in for another one soon. But she was so lovely, and it was just weird, the coincidences.
But are you like, are you glad that this stuff is being brought up and intensifying different moments in your life? Like, do you want that? Why do you want that right now?
Well, no, like she spoke and she's like, the reason you feel really stuck at the moment and like you're kind of like balancing like two different like lives, like, and that's how I feel. Because I like said that to her. I was like, look, I feel like I'm kind of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I don't know what I'm going, very confused. She's like, because you feel that, it's because of these things that like you need to kind of discover and like trust, like work through these things to then understand yourself better and like why you do things. Because she said that a lot of things that happened with this best friend, which actually leads us to one of our topics, but she said a lot of things that happened with this best friend has impacted like your body image, your self-worth, your like how you see yourself and like who you think you are. And she's like, that's a major impact on like why you're feeling kind of stuck and like why you can't progress.
What? How do they do exciting. That is my question. Like, what is...
I don't know.
And is it a practice? Oh wait, so she does tarot cards. So she wouldn't say that she has any like abilities or... Well,
no, she's a medium as well. Like she's like, she said multiple times, like she was like reading to me, but she wasn't like making a lot of eye contact while she was doing the reading because she's like, she kept being like, there's just a lot of people here. She's like, your ancestors, there's like a lot here and they're telling me things that I don't understand. And then she was like, she put out some cards and she was like, I don't really get what's happening. She's like, they're telling me this, but they're not, like, I can't put it together. And then, so we'd work through it more. And then she put it together and she's like, oh, this is why. And then it all kind of connected. But she kept saying like this is what they want you to see. And I was she's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't know who exactly, but she's like the universe or like your ancestors or whatever. This is like what they want you to like see right now.
Looking around me right now. So was that scary? Are you sitting there like, hey guys, it made me and then walking out alone and you're like, hey.
It made me feel really like safe and happy and also like really like I started crying because I was like, to know that like all these people in the past like as with me, like, and I like, as I've said in the past, I like I'm really interested in all this stuff. There's some of me that's a bit skeptical, but I'm skeptical at everything, but I'm very open to like learning about everything. And like I don't know, I just find it fascinating and like I want to know more about everything. So of course I'm gonna...
Well, that is like weirdly accurate, those things, how they happened, made sense.
Yeah. And then what was scary enough though, that night after the tarot reading, my mirror fell and smashed. And like
isn't mirrors bad thing?
Yeah, that's like bad luck. But it could have been because I was
just brought some demon time with you of your dead ancestors.
No. Like, I don't feel bad. Like, it was because, like, I don't know if, like, I was stacking things too high behind it, but I'd stacked stuff, like, 2 days ago that had been there for 2 days. But then suddenly it just fell. It was very odd. But that's enough about my updates. I swear I'm done with those. But that actually, as I said, it leads us into, I feel like we haven't touched on this before. And I'd love to like talk about it from both perspectives because it's obviously very different, but I feel like there's still similarities between like body image in women and men. I don't know how much you want to talk about it or like what your viewpoint and everything is, but yeah, like how do you think, have you had any issues before with your body image or like wanting to like, well, I know you've talked in the past about wanting to go to the gym and get buff. But do you think that's because of like obviously like because are you doing it because you feel better doing it, or are you doing it because you think like it makes you more appealing?
That's a good question. Well, it's probably, I mean, I definitely enjoy it and I like the health and fitness aspect. I wouldn't say that's like a motivating, that's a benefit which I'm definitely aware of, but I wouldn't say it's a motivating factor. But I guess it's probably like mostly a confidence thing. But then you wonder where the need for that confidence comes from and what the confidence through like body image is saying / meaning. Because I definitely, for while there in high school, I was definitely like confused about like, oh, do I have something? Because I guess I was like, you can't really be body image insecure or whatever by being like super skinny, because I was like very skinny and like kind of insecure about the fact that I was so skinny and didn't feel confident in that at all, and I really didn't like that. And so I was kind of like, is this, am I not insecure, am I, because I was obviously insecure, is this like a legitimate body image issue in my head, or is it not valid? Which was definitely a thing I thought of for a while. And honestly, as more recently, I've kind of seen more stuff come up about just like random anecdotal TikToks or whatever about how there really is no comparison between like being skinny. Because then there was a few times like people would make comments about like skinniness, and I was like, is skinny shaming a thing? Am I being skinny shamed?
It is.
But
for sure.
I have seen like, I see. You think it is?
Yeah. No. Like I think skinny shaming is definitely a thing, and it can impact people like immensely, and it can be so awful and horrible. But if you look at it from a societal view, a skinny person is obviously going to be treated way better than an overweight person. And like, I think that's the difference. Yes. Like, of course, you can feel the same thing and there's going to have the same impacts, but in society, people are going to value the skinny person better than they will value the fat person, even though you'll be experiencing exactly the same thing. That's exactly what I've seen. Like, people saying that in terms of like, you could get like hated or had comments made or feel insecure about it, but you'll still never have any kind of like societal impact or effects that like an overweight person or someone in the opposite direction would have. Yeah, for sure. But I think it's like really important to acknowledge, because like I also have a friend who like, she's like told me that like comments have been made about her body because she's just built like obviously very slender. Oh my god, that just reminds me of Slender Man. like very slim. She's like, people have made comments about that, and like it impacts her like majorly, because it's obviously like commenting on your body, and like if you're insecure about that, or like any comments like that is gonna hurt you. But I think we need to acknowledge that like that's still a thing. Like, of course, like comparatively for me to her, even though I'm not like extremely overweight, but comparatively like in society, I have more things that are like harder being more overweight. But like mentally, we are still like experiencing the same thing.
And it's also like, one thing I find really interesting is the balance between like it being healthy, like what's healthy versus what's some weird societal thing that's been put on you. For example, my question to you is like, for example, now I'm going to the gym. I don't have like a weird skinny complex really, but I still like there's like a body type that I would love to have. And I'm like, because I just think that looks better. I think I would feel more confident in that. But it's like, is that a bad thing? Like, is that do I only feel that way because of some issue with my own body, which I shouldn't have? Or is that completely valid for just to be like, no, I do just prefer that body type. That's just what I want because I think that looks better. And is that fine?
Yeah.
Is that chill?
I don't know. Like, I think that, like, it's hard when you talk about things like that because when you be like, oh, I want, like, a certain body type, it's kind of like, you can't choose what body type you have. Like, even though you might have an ideal body type in your head or, like, want to get to a certain thing, it's like, that will look differently on you. Even when you get to that point or that stage, it's still going to look different on you because you don't have that same body. Like, because bodies are built differently, for example.
Yeah.
So whatever, like I know that even if I got really skinny and, like, lost a lot of weight, I'm still going to be a lot curvier than another person because that's just how I'm built. So it's like, to expect that is society standard and that's being pushed on you. But to want to, like, lose weight or get to a certain place, I think that's still valid and you're still allowed to do that. I think it's just like when then you get to the point, and then if you get to that place and you're still not happy with that because you're chasing that ideal body type, then that becomes an issue. Because it's like you're never going to get there because that's you just, people are built differently.
And it goes into the whole thing of just people wanting to change any part of them or like getting Botox or getting a nose job and kind of wondering, is that, because obviously, you know, there's a big push, like you should just love yourself as you are. Everybody is beautiful as it's made. Like everybody's unique and different. You should accept and love that. And wondering, is it an issue of not enough self-love if you do want to change an aspect of your body? And it's like, no, you should just accept that. Or is it fine for someone to be like, I would prefer to have a nose that looks this way?
See, I'm fully in support of either way. As in, like, if you're not happy with something, if you want to change the shape of your nose or you want to change something and that will make you happier, go ahead. Like, why should I make a comment on like what you do? Like, you should be completely happy. If you think like self-love is going to get you to the point where you're happy and like you're happy in that way, do that. It becomes an issue when you get that thing done and then you're not happy with that and you want to get something like, and then it's a continuous, like, you're chasing this ever after thing. Like, that's when I think it becomes an issue.
I know, but then
which
it's
is like hard.
It's hard because you think, I was just about to like kind of think, well, I guess it's okay if you know you're doing something because you genuinely feel it's better and not because other people are telling you that looks ugly, you should do that. But then it's like, how do you know if you generally want something or the reason you generally want something is because of how other people have told you something's supposed to be or how you've seen in like society something's supposed to be?
That's the thing. It is.
I guess there's no answering that. It's just everything is society.
All
our opinions,
society,
like we don't have anywhere else to get our
all
opinions
our
and perceptions
and ideas
from.
Are literally society. So like when you say that you want to get like your nose done to feel happier, that's because of society. And I'm not like disregarding that, but like I still think it's like, if that will make you happier and make your life easier in the society, because society isn't going to change and it's not going to go away like that just because something happens. But if it makes you feel happier existing in the society with a nose job or something like that, why not? Like why? Like, yeah, okay, go do it. I just don't understand why people get so mad, and I'm like, but it's not your body. And like, if you want to change something, go ahead, and if you don't do it then. But that's somebody else's body. And
no, for sure. I can see being like saddened by it if someone like goes too far or gets it and be like, yikes, they've clearly felt so like affected by pressure and stuff that they've had to do stuff. But the whole like judgmentalness of or hate towards someone, be like, they got a nose job, or like someone got their lips done. It's so bizarre to me. Like, what's...
It's so weird.
Weird. Yeah, if they... Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of hard. Well, like, especially... Well, there's like the plastic surgery and stuff, but then there's like, as you said, chasing that ideal body goal, which at the moment there's a huge, and like in the past like couple of years, there's been a huge rise of like body positivity and like accepting your body and like loving yourself and all that, especially like in the plus size community, but also just in general. But it's, also in general. But there's been a huge like uprise of it on TikTok, because I remember at the start of TikTok was becoming really toxic for... I don't know about guys, but especially for girls, like a lot of my friends like had to delete TikTok because they realized they were comparing themselves to other people, like body image, like massively impact body image because you're just seeing like consistently all these people that like you're like, oh my god. But then in like I think in like the past like couple of months or like something, there's been a huge rise of like body positivity, but more in the sense of like mid-size. And you probably haven't seen this because it won't be on your, I don't know if it would be on your For You page, but there's been this whole thing where like, for me, just like the average looking girl, like, and they're calling that like mid-size, which I guess they've made it a thing where it's like mid-size appreciation or something like that, which is really great. And I love that. Like I'm glad that I want everybody to love their body and like accept it and stuff like that. But now it's become a thing where like people are hyping up so much, being like, it's so great to see like these bigger people like accepting their bodies, and it's like they're literally an average size person, like, you know what I mean, like not an average, but you know, like they're literally like just an everyday, just they might not have abs, but they're like, you know what I mean. I don't know how to explain it.
I think I would kind of feel if I was in that position, I would just want it to be like completely accepted to the point where it's not like a talking point. And so I feel like if I was on TikTok and constantly seeing too much body, like I definitely think it's probably a good thing, and I can see I know lots of people in the comments and stuff think it's great, but I kind of feel like I would feel, why is there so much of this? Or even if you see like an overweight person dancing and all the comments like, you get it, queen, you're doing so good, I would feel like it's just like this somewhat patronizing. Just accept, don't even make this a point. I'm just like, this is who I am, just be chill with that.
You don't need to be like, yes, you're so brave, like shut the fuck up, like no. But like, yeah, so like there's been this whole thing with like, oh, we love that you're like loving yourself, like especially like with the size you are. It's like, but they're average girls, which has now impacted like the body positivity movement, which was like specifically for like plus size and like bigger women. So that now like everybody's like accepting these like mid-sized girls and everything, but it's like put a huge like shadow and like really like negatively impacted the plus size community and stuff like that, which like lots of people talk about it way more articulately than me.
Yes. I mean, you wonder if it's kind of like people need, which is so bad, but like people need to kind of accept stuff in increments. So it's like if a plus size or the acceptable weight was a certain thing 20 years ago and now it's like a bit bigger, and it's like, doesn't this need to go up slowly until it's like every size included?
Like I'd agree like that, but I think that like,
I mean, it's not right. I'm just saying.
No. I think that like the point that I'm like trying to make is that like instead of like this being a positive thing, the mid-size like body positivity, it's become almost a negative thing, because for me, I didn't even know that that was like an issue, like, you know, being like average size. I was like, for me, like that's like a body goal, like, and that's coming from my perspective.
I see what you're saying.
Like, now like everybody's being like, yeah, mid-size, because I'm like, but some people, and I've seen comments, like some people make videos about it, they're like, I never had an issue, like now you're making me think that there's something bad and I have to like appreciate my body more, when like there
yes, I've seen people making jokes about how they made a TikTok and someone commented like, wow, seeing you dance like makes me feel so much more confident in my own body. It's like, bro, I'm like a very average weight.
And also I think it's like really hard because like a lot of the body positivity movement, well, before TikTok and this has all happened, was about, because like being a plus size person, it's harder to find clothes, it's harder to like found, like it's just harder in like lots of other things, which like obviously mid-sized people, they still have access to clothes and to fashion and everything like that, so it doesn't affect them like in that sense. It's kind of like what you were talking about, like the skinny thing, but it's just like more mid-size, because mid-size still have access to everything and still have access to like they don't have the just kind of the level of discriminatory behavior brought upon them like plus size people do. But that's just my little thing on that.
So where are you at personally?
Lol. I have gone through like lots of like patches of everything with like my body and everything like that. As in like just before I moved to Sydney, I was literally like my lowest weight in like a while, and I was like working out and I was feeling good and like everything was good. And then I moved to Sydney and then it got really stressed. I didn't work out. I just like let everything just like do whatever it wanted. Like I was like, I just like could, because it's a stressful time. And then recently I've just been going to the gym Because I'm like, one, it's really good for my mental health, and I think that's what I really like to focus on. Like even like going for walks and stuff like that. In the past, I was like working out, and I'd be like, I need, because I want to get skinnier, and I want to do this, and I want to da da, and like I think I've mentioned this, like I did a bit of modeling
Yeah.
before I moved to Sydney and all this type of stuff. And like I want to get back into that, but like a lot of my mindset was like, I'm gonna get skinny so that like modeling is easier because you get accepted to places more, even though they want like curvier people. They still like want a certain curvier person. So like I was
Right.
like, I want to get skinny because of that. And like although that's still in like the back of my head, like I'm not gonna lie that like I'm like, no, I'm just doing it for the health and my mental health. It's not all about that for me. Like, of course, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to lose weight to like for society, whatever, and all that type of stuff. But it also is just to feel better about yourself and feel more confident, like you said. But I think I've definitely more like accepted it more. And I don't know if it's because I'm still like at a low-ish weight where like things are like easier for me. Whilst before in the past, like things like because I was at a heavier weight, things were more not as accessible, as in like clothing and everything. And every time I had to find an outfit or something, I'd cry because I just wanted to wear
Wow.
what like other people were wearing, and like
Mm.
I'd have to order things online, and I didn't like how they looked, and like that was really difficult. And because I've like lost weight, I've gone down to a size that like I can get stuff, like not that I couldn't get stuff from stores, but I can go into stores and get whatever like I really want from most stores, or kind of. So everything's a
Right.
little bit more easier for me. And like there's also like the men thing where like obviously like you want to lose weight to be more attractive to men, and then or whatever, and then there was all of that. But now I think I'm just like whatever, like I just want to work out, and if like that progresses to like losing weight, hopefully it does, so see, I'm still in mindset, that's good too. But like it's definitely just a release, and like just to be comfortable in my own body, and also just accept it, and like learn to like
Mm.
live with what's happening in the moment. Because I feel like I've lost, I don't know if you would have experienced this, but I've lost so many opportunities because like I didn't want to do things, or the whole time I was doing certain things, I was doing like thinking about my weight or thinking about how my body looked, so I would avoid those situations, or it would like add to my anxiety. And like now I'm just trying to like accept it, and like know that I'm still actually really good looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just where
Yeah.
I'm at. But it's hard. Like, of course, like every day it changes. Like, I don't know if it's for you, but like every day, you know, your body changes, and then you look at yourself, and some days, especially when you've got hormones for girls going through your, especially in a month, every month, like you hate your body for like a couple weeks, and or like a couple days, and then sometimes you like it, and it's always a journey. Like, it never's going to stop, and it's just
And
because society.
yeah, the hard part, well, not the hard part, but one challenging aspect is the fact that even if you can be like as comfortable as you can be in yourself, the fact that of knowing that how judgmental other people are,
Yeah.
and then that's like it's like an extra step of being comfortable in yourself, in knowing that like, okay, I don't care how I look, but knowing that at the same time all
Other
these other
people,
people are
yeah.
looking, and they will be thinking these things, and they're thinking,
Yeah.
oh, yikes, he's so skinny, or like
Yeah.
that person's put on a bit of weight. Like people
Yeah.
are thinking these things, and so it requires like a double step of
Yeah,
just
exactly.
not caring.
Which is like something like I don't think even like people who say they're like really accepting with their body, I don't think even they have gotten over, like as much as they probably say they do. Like there's always that thing in the back of your head, no matter how much you quote unquote love yourself, or like don't care about what people are thinking or whatever, like there's still going to be that, because we live in this society where there's an ideal body type, there's an ideal, well, and that changes, but there's an ideal like way, or like section of like
Yeah.
weight, or how you look, that is acceptable and more pleasing for people in the world. So like, yeah.
One thing I have seen, one more thing I want to say on this topic is, because I've seen a lot of it recently, is just like understanding and realizing how weight / like fat phobic just people are in general, like how ingrained in us it is. And I
Yeah.
think I saw like people debating this or something the other day, but the fact that like health, like the whole health and weight thing is such a thing, it's like,
Yeah.
people debate like, if you're like overweight doesn't mean you're necessarily unhealthy,
At
and then
all,
other people
no,
think
yeah.
it is. But then it's like, even if someone is overweight and it means like they're a bit more unhealthy, or they are at higher risk of some diseases, the weight thing is like one of the only things which people as a whole are just so much more judgmental on in terms of health. Okay, that didn't really make sense. But in terms of like, people do so many things which are bad for them and people don't really bat an eyelid. But as soon as someone's overweight, people are subconsciously in their heads judging them, being like, yikes, that person is really overweight, or like yikes, why doesn't that person lose weight? They're too unhealthy. It's weird how like we're so drawn to weight as opposed to any other bad behavior which like is unhealthy for someone.
Yeah. I like think that like weight is such a thing that like I think people see it like as either you're like a good or bad person, which is really interesting. This is like a whole other kind of take on it. But like I feel like if you're overweight, people automatically have a negative view on like who you are, or like just like not like obviously you're a bad person, you're like evil, but like yeah, like they more see you as a whole as like a more like bad person. Whilst like if comparatively, I don't know how to say it. Like I don't know how to say what I'm trying to think.
Well, people think that it's always like think it suggests something, or there's something more, or they think like that person's fat, they must be like lazy, or why aren't they losing weight, or why, or like yikes. When in reality, it's like we just haven't got to a point in accepting that like body shapes, like some people can be overweight, and or I shouldn't even say overweight because that implies that like there's a normal weight, but people can be, I don't know what a good term is, but they can be larger in size, and that's just like an acceptable body size. Like some people are just that like big, and they might not be well, even if they are, but they might not be particularly unhealthy. They might not be. They might be happy and fine and can do everything they want to do. So why isn't that just a size where we accept people that some people look like that?
True. It's just so like scary, like how much you can get into it and see how everything connects to like body image and like perception of people. It's like it actually kind of freaks me out a bit. And
it definitely is, because there's so much psychology in terms of like even people who wouldn't think that they're like consciously judgmental towards that. There's so many ingrained like thoughts and associations.
Like even how like say like the word fat is like even I like see that as a like really negative word, and I'm like, no, like you could never call, but like why? Like and then you see people like they're like, you see those people who are like, yeah, I'm fat, and they're like, so like there's nothing negative about it, and I'm like, why have we made that such like a like it's such a negative thing? Like if you hear that, you're like
with most. I guess it's with most kind of derogatory words, kind of like even the N word. It's like, well, there's nothing wrong with being that, but the way people have used it always.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, it's just so sad. And it just also frustrates me that like people, let's say they like see somebody and they're judging them, and I'm like, yeah, but like think about like maybe why they're that way. Like, I don't know. This whole thing that's like, okay, you're like, why can't they lose it? It's like, yeah, but you don't think in this society they haven't thought about wanting to lose weight? Like, you don't think they have also tried so hard to do that? Or like, maybe they haven't, but I'm just saying for a lot of people, like, if you're living in this society, you felt the pressure to lose weight and you felt the pressure to be a certain body type, and you don't think that they haven't thought about that? They're not constantly thinking about that, or they're like, haven't tried so many different things. And it's just like frustrates me. It's like, you don't think they know this already, and you're still telling it to them. Like, do you think? I don't know.
But it is like, weird how like I make the point before that people don't care about as much about other negative behaviors as they do as like overweightness. But even something like, it's funny how like smoking, when people see smokers that aren't smokers, they can often be very like, the attitude is automatically very kind of negative in terms of like, oh, that person's trash, or I hate that person, or like that person's a bad person, where it's kind of like, it's just interesting that that's the approach, rather than thinking like, I just wonder why it's to like an aggressive hate standpoint, rather than like a
straight away.
Yikes! I feel bad that person's doing something which is bad for them. Like, why do we, if anything, or even just be like,
why is it such a negative, like hateful feeling straight away? Not that I feel that exactly, but like. Yeah.
When it's not people that we care about or know, they're just random people doing. Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. So, guys, we have just been transported 15 minutes into the future. This is so sudden. You're so confused right now. We were just talking about body image. I am just sitting here, and then suddenly, in the midst of our sentence, Ali just fades into nothingness and disappears, freezes, and then eventually is just gone from the Zoom call that we're recording this in. So Ali disappeared, and I get a message, and it says, "My internet isn't working. One sec. Oh wait, my hotspot isn't working." Anyway, long story short, she doesn't have any internet. Apparently, there's no data left on her iPad. Currently wondering why she has an iPad. I thought we left those in 2015, but that's okay. So Ali couldn't return, and I decided, let's give them a taste of what the podcast would be like if it was just me. In the distant future, if, say, Ali is in an accident and passes away, or Ali decides to quit the podcast. To be honest, I think I would get a co-host or just quit myself in that situation. But this is a taste if you've ever wondered, what would a podcast with just Theo be like? Anyway, I think we came to the end of that body image discussion anyway. I think the last thing I was interested to say, because I don't think I was really making my point there, was the fact that I just find it interesting because I don't think when we worry about people who are doing things for their health, no, when we express kind of these feelings of these negative feelings about people that are doing things bad for their health, I don't think it's us coming from a place of, I really care about that person. Like, why are they doing this bad behavior? Especially when they're people we don't know. So I'm just wondering where that comes from. Like, what is the psychology behind our negative reactions to people doing that? And why do we care? I'm genuinely interested because we do care, but why? Anyway, on that note, we had a bunch of topics to get to today, and it turned into a big discussion on body image, but I think it's been really enjoyable, and I know it's something which people have requested we touch on and speak about. So I'm glad we got to at least have this portion of a conversation and get into all that stuff today. So thank you so much for listening to this podcast, guys. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Undecided Gen Z, and we will be back next week with another episode. If you enjoyed, please go to Spotify, Apple iTunes, subscribe, and we would love it if you could leave a rating and review to be our next week's review of the week. And also just because it helps us, to be honest, just like for the simple fact that it helps push us out there to people. And I'm just always like, what is the hesitancy with leaving a review? But also I understand it because, as we spoke about last time, nor do I leave many reviews. So maybe I should start, and it will bring karma, bring manifestation, positivity back to us in the form of many reviews. You can also, this is another fun thing which we have been not slightly ignoring, I actually used it today, but we have a form where you can anonymously submit a bunch of things. So people picks, dilemmas, secrets, unpopular opinions. So you can find that in our Instagram bio at the Undecided Gen Z. Click through the link tree and submit all that good stuff because we really want to do another secret segment coming up. So tell us your juiciest private secrets. I don't know. I'm kind of having fun talking. I don't want to end it. I'm like, what else can I promote? Oh, you can follow us on Instagram at Theo.McCoy, at Ali_Malcolm. DM us. Tell us what we should talk about. Give us your opinions. But yes, this was a fun episode to film. To be honest, it stresses me out to record podcasts. Listening back, I always cringe. And I mean, I'm generally a pretty self-loving person, but as soon as I'm listening back, I'm like, damn it, why did I say any of this stuff? Why didn't I say this? So it is stressful and hard, but we truly appreciate every one of you that is stuck by and is listening to this episode right now. Yikes, this is a mess. We need to bring back Ali next week ASAP. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I hope you have an awesome week, and we'll see you very soon with another episode of the Undecided Gen Z.